Someone once said that comparison is the thief of joy. And I gotta agree. If you've spent any time in your life comparing yourself to somebody else or becoming envious of somebody else, you know you don't have a whole lot of joy. And comparison and envy is something that I've struggled with most of my life. One of the reasons it's so dangerous is that envy breeds in proximity, right? This is why you tend to be envious, not of the guy who lives in a mansion on the other side of town. You're envious of the person who lives in a house that's a little bigger than yours on the same street, right? This is exactly why you don't envy Bill Gates' wealth. You envy the wealth of the couple that you went out with last weekend, right? It breeds in proximity. So not only does it diminish your ability to be content, it also diminishes your ability to develop intimacy with the people around you. So what do we do with envy? What do we do with comparison? Well, let me give you 5 just kind of quick things that I think can begin to diminish it in your life. Envy and comparison is not something you could just check off a list and it disappears, right? There's no easy equation to get rid of it, but I think these 5 things can help you a lot. The first one is this: don't use social media as a measurement tool, right? If you wake up and the first thing you do every day is scroll through your Instagram, you're going to be reminded of all the things that you're not doing, of all the places you're not visiting, of all the vacations that you're not currently on. You got to understand social media is a highlight reel. That's it, right? That's all it is. Don't use it as a measurement tool to compare your life to somebody else. The second thing I'd say is you got to develop systematic gratitude in your life. You got to find a way to regularly be grateful for what you already have, which will help you not be so focused on what it is that you don't have that you think that you want. Every single day I wake up and one of the very first things I do is I write in my gratitude journal all the things that I'm thankful for. There's almost always a direct correlation between somebody who's extremely grateful not being someone who's extremely envious, right? And the opposite of that would also be true. The third thing I'd say is choose admiration over envy. Admiration and envy are very similar. There's actually just a fine line in between those two, because both admiration and envy, they both point to what it is that you value. The difference is this: when you're just envious of somebody, you just kind of write it off. You're just critical towards them. When you admire somebody, you can begin to ask questions like, what is it like that they've done to get them where they are today? What qualities do they possess that I wish I possessed? How would those qualities possessed by me maybe look a little differently than those qualities possessed by them? See the difference? With admiration, what happens is you begin to ask questions that lead you to look inward instead of always looking outward at what you're envious and what you don't have. So choose admiration over envy. Number 4, allow comparison to become celebration. So if it's true that envy breeds in proximity, right? One of the quickest ways then to dissipate envy in your life is to celebrate the accomplishments of your friends. Like, make that a practice. The Buddhists had this practice that referred to sympathetic joy, right? It was this idea of you could be joyful for somebody accomplishing something that you had yet not accomplished. You could be joyful for somebody having something that you have yet to actually possess, right? It's this practice of seeing the people around you, and instead of being jealous of them, just celebrate them. It's really hard to be envious of somebody that you're celebrating. And when you first do it, I'm telling you, it's going to feel a little fake. It's not going to feel genuine, but over time, as you practice just celebrating the people around you, it's a beautiful thing begins to take place, and you'll watch the comparison and envy begin to melt. 5th thing, this is really important. I think it's the most important. It's also the most difficult thing. Get comfortable with who you are. See, the reality is the reason that we compare, the reason that we're often envious of other people is we're just not happy with who we are. We have to get to a place where we can accept that the Creator did not make any mistakes, right? That He was intentional about the way that we've been made. And so the gifts, the abilities, the personality that you have, it's not by accident. It's all by design. And the more that you can get comfortable affirming yourself, the more you can get comfortable loving yourself, the less envious you're going to be, the less you're going to find yourself comparing to other people, and the more that you can begin to live the life that you were created to live. So I hope these 5 tips are helpful. If they are, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll keep bringing you more help along the way.